Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight I would like to offer for you the mid-month relationship reading for the elements. So, what we'll do is we'll go through each of the 4 elements. We'll look at the energy for the singles and the energy for those in a relationship. And when I say relationship, it can be a romantic relationship, it could be friends, it could be business. It just kind of depends on where you're at in life. So what I do is we start off with a chakra card, which is from the Sacred Mysteries chakra deck, and we'll see where the energy is as far as an alignment within the chakras, and then we'll pull a couple of tarot cards just to see what other messages Spirit has to say about the relationships in the moment. Again, these are for entertainment purposes, so if you get something out of it, great. If you don't, then its messages aren't for you at this time. And when I read the chakras, I will start with looking at the card, giving you my impressions, the thoughts, and then we'll look up the keywords in the book, because there's a lot of information in the way the artist and designer of this deck work. It's a little bit easier to give you what I am seeing and then also bring up what the author intended. So that's how we'll work that one. So tonight we will start off with, same as the zodiac runs, which is fire, earth, air, and water. So we're going to start off with the fire singles, and fire is covering Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So any of the fire and elemental energies out there who are currently single, we are starting with you today. And for your chakra, for the singles, we have compassion. This is tapping into your higher frequency energies. This is tapping into that gentility of life. Compassion is the ability to see where someone's at, feel the emotion of it, but not put yourself into that situation. So you can see it's the clean form of empathy. But with compassion, you see the motivation and why. Sometimes people do things that are harsh, are a little bit rough, but it's because they've been wounded in their own life. And so compassion is being able to see an action and not put a negative emotion to it. Love them through it type of a thing. That does not mean being abused situations, because sometimes the best thing you can do is take yourself out of a situation. So for fire singles, we're starting with the compassion, and let's see where we're at here. It's 49. Come on, book. So just make sure that when you are being compassionate, you're doing so from a safe position. You don't want to, hurt yourself in that process. We are in the crown chakra, which is the 7th chakra, and it is on the card here. We have Tripura Sundari. The goddess embodies the beauty of inspiration and the ascension of the 7th chakra. Through her, you can recognize everything as divine, including divine qualities within your own being. That's another aspect of compassion is that agape love. That's where you can see things from the heart of the Creator, and you don't filter it through the other versions, Eros, Phileo, and all the rest of them. You're seeing it 100% from the heart of the Creator with that love. And that compassion is seeing, like I said, the root of the situation, not just the actions. So keywords: innocence, childlike wonder, love beyond attachment, magic in the moment, expanding your capacity for love, the radiant heart, and nurturing. So for the singles in fire, this is really saying that this period of time that we're in, or that you're in, is all about understanding yourself, understanding the love of others. So they're also saying that could be a time for bringing in a new relationship, and that could be, they're showing more friendship on this one, not so much romantic, but it could build into a romantic situation is what they're saying. So let's see what the tarot has to say. It's the 4 of Winter. Setting aside concerns for now, you can make decisions later. Solutions that come from meditation, the need for sleep, or a vacation. So this is not a time for you to rush, especially in your own life. the compassion is saying, look at things from a deeper level, seeing them from the heart, seeing them from the divine perspective, so you can understand it better. But part of that goes along with not rushing into things. When you are in that state of deep love, of flow, you're looking at things from the broader perspective, which allows you to see them in a gentle way versus the harsh, in the moment responses to things. Sometimes you can pick stuff up really quick and just in general, but they're saying with this one, it's a good time to step away from the quick knee-jerk reactions and look at it from the broader perspective. So the other cards, and these two popped out together, is number 16, Life Experiences. Letting go of belief systems that no longer work for you, and important life-changing event situations that lead to significant opportunity. In this deck, it's called Life Experiences, but in the traditional tarot, it would be the Tower moment. And we also have the Prince of Autumn, dependable, protective, chivalrous, and humorous. Cautious but wise action, meticulous attention to detail, and kindness to others. So there are some significant changes, because with this one here, we have a major arcana card, which is a massive life lesson. So there are some things that are shifting, and with that, creative destruction is occurring. Something is being removed because it's no longer necessary, because there's a path beyond that is being revealed. And the Prince of Autumn is showing you a little bit of that future where clearing things out, making those cautious next steps, weighing the balance, so to speak, which is a little bit different for fire, because especially fire singles, you tend to be a little bit more flashy, where you want to just, you feel the urge and you just take care of it, you do it, whatever it is now. So in the relationship world, this is about allowing the relationships that are no longer working, like you haven't talked to that person for 6 or 8 weeks. It's okay if that relationship fades away. That's not a big deal, that friendship or that business association even. And the life experience card, there's something that has to be taken away so that something better can be brought in, because there's space that has to be made for that to happen. And when you're clearing out this Tower moment, it's you're bringing in the Prince of Autumn. So you're bringing in a new experience, a new situation in your life. So for fire singles, taking some time for some deep breaths, just relaxing a little bit, allowing things that are ready to leave to float away, and looking at things from the broader perspective is the message for the upcoming month. Upcoming month. So let's do a quick reshuffle here and get the fire couples energy and see where we're at. Okay, so that one's ready, and if you have questions or comments as we zip along through here, just drop them in the comment section down below. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like if you enjoy these types of videos, and let me know if there's anything that you guys would like to see in the future. So let's look for fire in relationships. We have the number 35, rigidity. So right off the bat, just what's coming up is this is not a time to be stiff. Like the fire in couples, and that could be you are the fire sign, it could be your partner's the fire sign, but there's this feeling that things need to shift a little bit because something has become rigid, something has become stiff. It is no longer a fluid, moving, growing experience, and so there's some healing that needs to be worked on right now is what they're showing me. Let's see what we got here. We are in the 5th chakra, so this is your throat chakra, and the symbol is the elephant, which is a very powerful symbol in most instances. The elephant is one of the most intelligent animals, wise, domesticated, however, often decked out with adornments that come from having learned to be obedient and respond to its master. It loses independence that comes with thinking for itself. It thinks and acts as it's told, sure that it is doing the right thing even when it may not be. Even so, traditionally the elephant is linked with the power of memory, patience, and intuitive understanding of nature. And our key words for that is dogmatism versus flexible thinking, memory, coming to terms with difficult situations, searching for the key to understanding self, and learning patience. So for those in the relationships, this is that heads up that don't lose yourself in a relationship just because something is, well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, or this is how I'm supposed to be feeling. The rigidity, when you start tying into that, is you put blinders on. You stop being able to think for yourself, and you stop being able to see the broader picture. And when you're working with the throat chakra, this is the chakra of communication, of wisdom, of being able to see and understand, because communication is not just words. It's how you respond to a situation. And people don't realize how much of this happens, a lot of your communication, in some cases they will say that it is the majority of communication, is done non-verbally, which means it is not the words, it's the tone. It's not just the words, it's how you stand when you say it. It's your facial expressions. All of that stuff factors in when you're doing communications with people. So for the fire in couples, whether it's a relationship, whether it's like a business relationship or a friendship, but those that are in that type of situation, this rigidity is saying, don't get so tied up in, I have to be a certain way to keep this relationship flowing, because that's not healthy. Being able to grow, allow the other person to grow, thinking for yourselves and growing together in knowledge and wisdom is the best option. And the memory is, remember who you were before life happened. And that's remembering like your inner child. That's remembering those wisdom aspects of you before you even came into this physical form. So tapping into your memory is not just in this lifetime, but it could be an expanded awareness. So the tarot has the Three of Autumn. Follow your passion when it comes to your career. Be the best at what you do. Be compensated for your creative ideas. This one's really focusing on strictly the business world. So if you're in a relationship, whether it's a business relationship or you're thinking about working it, make sure that you're being compensated properly, whether that is through a payment agreement, whether that is an exchange of goods or time. Don't overextend yourself just to improve this particular business situation. And they're saying that this is not the time for cutting back in the fact of, well, so-and-so can't really handle, then so-and-so can step aside and you can bring another person in. But this card is saying, do not hurt yourself because of someone else's feelings on a situation. Allow yourself to grow and build and develop, because that's what this is saying. And being compensated appropriately is part of that. You may make a product, whether it is an art product, a computer program, a game software, whatever, and you set a price because you know the value of how much time you put into it and the product itself and everything else. Just because someone's like, that's a little bit much, then it's not for you. Because I know what my value is, I know how much time and effort I've put into this, and that's what this is saying. That's also tying into that rigidity. Just because someone else says something doesn't mean that that's how it is. So your other message here is the Five of Summer. Trust that there's a reason for everything that happens. Remove yourself from negative emotions, focusing on that which frightens or worries you. This is really saying that with like the rigidity chakra in your throat, the other people's opinions, ideas, and focuses are not yours. The Five of Summer is saying call back your energy. Put up healthy boundaries, because not everybody has your best intentions at heart. And when you are working in a situation, especially relationship form, they're really emphasizing the business one, so this is probably leaning more for business people, but knowing proper boundaries, saying, no, this is my time, I'm offering you this time, especially if it's like a work environment. This is the time I'm offering you to do said work. This is the compensation that we've agreed upon. That's where we're at. And the Five of Summer is saying, don't let those boundaries become weakened, because you've set them up for a reason. Now, if you need to adjust those boundaries because things have changed, you've grown, that's acceptable. But don't do it just because, well, you just need to give me more time, or you just need to, no. You need to keep over there. I will take care of me and my boundaries. If there's something that needs to be changed, we can negotiate. But it's not a matter of you telling me what I have to do in this situation. This is a reminder that you have sovereignty over yourself, your time, and your availability. And if that doesn't work anymore, then maybe we need to rethink said situation. So, so for the couples in fire, it's definitely reminding you to stand up for yourself when necessary and reinforce those healthy boundaries, because there's some things coming in right now that may not be the best options for you as far as outside influences. Inside influences, like within the relationship, it's a little less aggressive, but the outside forces that are trying to come in, not the healthiest right now. So let's end fire and let's move over to Earth. Find the right symbol. And Earth covers Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And we'll do Earth singles first here. And where is the chakra energy for the Earth singles? We are in ignorance. Uh-oh. This one is saying, what they're showing me anyway, is this is a time to peel away ignorance. It's time to pierce the veil. This is not a time to blindly follow something or to blindly walk into a situation. What they're showing me is this is a time to wake up to the reality of life, the reality of how things are. Just because this is how we've always done it doesn't mean that's how it's always supposed to be. This is a concept of breaking a little bit of tradition, or at least being able to step outside of it and see, is this tradition still helpful, or was there a veil put upon me, or was I born into a veil, because that happens too, where I wasn't allowed to see, but now that I can. To be ignorant is to choose to not accept a new idea. So let's see what the book has to say. We're in the 4th chakra, so this is the heart, and the symbol in the middle here, which, oh, it is right there. If you look really close there, underneath the brown symbol right there, it is a black antelope. And this antelope carries yang energy, the seed sound for the energy elements of air. The symbol, it symbolizes the quest of the heart to remove the inner blocks and seek purity and truth. It has its head turned almost backwards, as if it doesn't have the information it needs to move forward. Listening carefully. Is it running? Does it need to relax? Its ignorance is situational and points to a need to know more in order to survive and be effective. Gotta turn the page here. The key words are ignorance, folly, lack of knowledge, purgatory, needing to reframe an attitude that blocks wisdom, false concepts, and clinging to what is not real, and discovery. So for Earth singles, this is really a call out. The universe is calling you out right now to peel back the veil, to peel back the layers of what you've always been taught. This is what I've always done. This is how I'm supposed to do it. This is this. The universe is saying, take a breath, calm down. Do you actually know where you're headed in this moment in time? Because the ignorance is choosing to not acknowledge what is happening. The ignorance is choosing to not see what is being shown to you. Because things can be shown to you all the time, and trust me, when there's things that you don't want to acknowledge just yet, and they're laid out in front of you, you're going to find every reason to not acknowledge that. And that's what they're saying with this for Earth singles, is this is really a time to check back, look in your history. I mean, the critter, if you can see him, he's looking over his shoulder because it's like, am I missing something? Is there something that I'm supposed to be running away from? Is there something that I'm supposed to be turning back to? Finding the information, finding the knowledge, seeking out wisdom is the energy that's coming forward, and that's working with the heart chakra, which the heart is a very emotional state, and so this is saying the emotions are fine, but what instinctively are you being drawn to, and then using logic and reason to understand what that actually means. So you guys also have the 3 of Autumn, which is following your passion when it comes to your career, be the best at what you do, and fair compensation. So part of what's coming up for this heart energy is, are you actually taking care of your own needs? Are you diminishing yourself because, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. That could be the ignorance, where if you lift the veil and be like, realize, wait a minute, I actually have skills and talents. Why am I not pursuing them? That doesn't mean just up and quit your job. That means expanding your knowledge, expanding your awareness, seeing things from that broader perspective. And sometimes it's that thing of, I've been at the same job for 10 years making the exact same wage, but I've increased my skill set significantly, and my experience counts for something. So it could be, maybe asking for that promotion, asking for that pay raise, but making sure that you're being compensated. That's that removal of ignorance. The ignorance is, this is the way it has been and this is how it has to be. But they're calling you out to remove the ignorance and educate and expand your awareness. So the other one here is the Queen of Summer, loving, comforting, emotional, and intuitive. Listening to your heart. Since you're in the heart chakra, that's a good thing. Intuitive insights you can trust, taking care of others, maybe too much. This also ties into the Three of Autumn card with the fact that being compensated for what you're doing is a good thing. Just because you don't want to hurt the other. Oh, well, it might be inconvenient or it might give them extra work. But are you being compensated? Because if you're doing a significantly higher amount of work that you have increased over time, but your compensation, your pay, your benefits, your vacation, whatever, has not increased accordingly, then that is taking care of others too much. You're taking care of situations that aren't yours to take care of anymore. You're not being compensated for what you're doing. And this, for Earth singles, this is a little bit of a call out, is what I'm feeling from the universe, is check what's going on in your life, and are you actually being compensated for the things that you're doing? It could be in work, it could be in friendships, because personally, I've had friendships over the years that have faded away because we don't do that anymore. Where you give and give and give, and they just keep taking, and there's no compensation there. And I have other friendships that are still going on now, where there's equal give and take, and the friendship grows because of that. And that's what the universe is saying, is this is a time for you to do some reevaluation on yourself, where you're at, are your boundaries healthy, and checking to make sure you're being compensated. Because Earth singles, they're saying that you have greater value than you realize, and you've allowed yourself over time, and a lot of it is because of that ignorance, there's a veil in place that has blinded you to the amazing person that you are. So let's look at Earth couples for December of 2023. Earth couples, there we go. Wait. So this card leapt out of the deck, and for Earth couples, we have, well, this looks like we have Kali on here. The fear card, but they're not showing me that this is fear as in something that you have to be afraid of. They're showing me that conquering your fear is what's necessary. The images, I haven't looked in the book yet, but the images they're showing me is, this is your energy in the relationship conquering your fear, which is down here. They're saying that this is the time for you to ask the questions, to push forward. If you're in a personal relationship and you feel like it's not going anywhere, that's the image they're showing. This is the time to see if you can push that to the next level. If you're scared to ask, or you're scared to push, this is a time to evaluate internally, what is the fear that is blocking me in this relationship? If it's a business idea, what is the fear that is keeping me from asking for this next thing, this thing that I'm wanting, but I'm scared of being told no? The universe is saying, let us deal with the no. You need to work through the process of the fear, because by dealing with that, the no fades away a lot faster. And it could be, not right now, or not this option, how about this one? So don't be afraid of the other options as well. So let's see what the little book here has to say. I was right. So the goddess on here is the goddess of chaos, destruction, and transformation. She's not a horrible person, by the way. And that is the Kali goddess. Kali is one of the many incarnations of the divine feminine energy. She is associated with what for most people is the biggest fear, death. With her tongue sticking out and her hair in wild disarray, she can look angry and appear strangely demonic. At other times, she can appear beautiful and shower her devotees with compassion and grace. The sword she uses to sever the ego and destroy the demons can inspire fear, protect against fear, or dissolve it altogether. Her mala of human skulls, which is a necklace similar to a rosary beads, that I don't know if you can see that, if it'll focus. It's this big long necklace hanging down to her knees here. Shows her disinterest in outside beauty and her disdain for pride. So earth couples, this is really, and that can be you or your partner as the earth sign, but they're really saying that this is not a time for allowing fear to, they're showing me mess up is the word they keep using. So it's not a time for fear to mess up what you've been working on. It's not a time for fear to destroy the things that you have been heading towards, working forward on. Kali is an amazingly powerful goddess. She is one of the top 3, I believe, in Hinduism, at least that's in my research anyway. And she, in her warrior form, this form, she is the goddess of death, destruction, but she's also the goddess of transformation. So as you're going through things, she can help you clear the path. She can help you understand why you're having to go through this dark night, but she's also has a mother side, the Kali Ma, and that's where this divine compassion, where she understands that you've been dealing with a lot, and she's going to help guide you through this and move you into a more peaceful, happy state. So understand that with what's going on right now, it might feel a little chaotic, but that's because Kali is coming in force to help you shift some things. She doesn't do things quietly in most cases. She's pretty bombastic about stuff. So let's look at the tarot for earth couples. We have the Queen of Spring, brilliant, loyal, talented, and friendly. Believe in yourself, wonderful people who want to help you and maintain a balance between work and home life. There may be some things being shaken up right now, and that's overcoming that fear. There's some things they're showing me that you've allowed work to interfere. Sorry, there was a lot of information coming in. Work to interfere with the home. You've allowed outside forces to influence the relationship. And this is calling you to set those boundaries and find a way to overcome the fear of saying, no, I'm not doing this. We're done here. Step off. And that's also a transformative experience for you, because there's a period. The Queen of Spring is saying bringing the focus back into the relationship. This is more focused on personal relationships, bringing that attention back into that romantic relationship, setting aside the distractions, and that might be a little bit something that you're afraid of doing, because, well, if I set aside, or if I put a boundary up, or I ask for that time off, my boss might, you have earned the time off, take it. You have a relationship that may be having a hiccup right now, and this is that time to say, hold up, every outside world, take your pill, go sit down, go play with your blocks, because my focus needs to be on building this and reconnecting on a spiritual level and a physical level with my partner, with my friends, because it could be that you've allowed work to distance you from your social circle as well. There's a lot of different ways you can look at relationships, but this one is really telling about reconnecting with the ones that you're supposed to be connecting with, because they're saying that there has been some distractions, and it's been out of fear of saying no or fear of being rejected that you haven't reconnected or fixed these situations. But you have Kali coming in the, I just completely lost what chakra that was in, sorry. In the root chakra, saying enough's enough. Reconnect to the earth, purge out the stuff that doesn't work. It's time to really anchor yourself back into this now moment. The other card is the Seven of Spring. Be assertive. Don't back down from what you believe. Courageously standing up for yourself. Kali can help you understand who you are at a deeper level. Being a goddess of death, transformation, and even the chaos aspect, sometimes for Earth, you put blinders on, you get grounded. This is what I do, this is who I am, this is where I'm at. She's like, she's gonna shake the snow globe, so to speak, because understanding who you are may mean that you have to be a bit more assertive than what you normally would be, taking back your power and standing up for yourself. These are all things that may not be the most comfortable, especially when, well, I don't want to upset the other person. Then don't upset them, but that doesn't mean be a doormat either. And that's what they're saying, because Kali is not, she's not saying to be abusive, not to be hostile and angry and all of that. Being assertive and standing up for yourself means that you understand your value, and sometimes that is a fearful thing because you may not feel that worth, that value, or that's how special you really are. And she's like, come on, you're way better than that. So that's where we're at with the Earth couples. Let's recut the decks here real quick and set up for the air. But yeah, Earth, know your value. That's the big one for singles and couples. Know your value and use that value to grow. So let's cut the chakra deck here, and air singles, here we go. We have Serenity, number 12. So air singles, this is a time to really find your balance, to find your inner peace. I haven't looked in the book yet, but this is the images they're showing me. You're riding, so to speak, the crocodile. You, in the middle of chaos, you have found your balance. You have found equilibrium, even though the world is trying to shake you up a little bit. In your solidarity, in your singleness, you actually are content in the moment, and that is helping you see things clearer and focus on what is important in this moment, which is your spiritual growth. So let's see what the book has to say here. This is the second chakra, the sacral chakra. The card's deity, the goddess here, is Ganga or Ganga, the river goddess. This goddess of love personifies the spiritual purity of the river. The living river is a way of enlightenment and the transformative flow of base energies into supreme consciousness. So it's definitely a period of knowing your balance and spiritual growth right now. Our key words are nurturing emotions, love for the physical body, dreaming, flowing with joy, searching to find deeper sense of purposes, and spirituality. So Earth singles, this is not a time to be looking outward, or air singles, sorry. This is not a time to be looking outward. This is a time for inner reflection, inner work. If you are starting out on a spiritual journey, they're saying take a little bit more time with it for this next month. Work with the energy of serenity, and that is that feeling of peace. No matter what the world's doing, serenity is this peaceful state where it's just okay. And you're happy, you're at peace with it. It's not like a giggly joy, and it's not like, oh, it's just this beautiful peace. It's that flowing water where the world just kind of flows. You're in a nice boat. It doesn't really matter what rapids are because you're able to float even through them. Like with this card, she's standing on the crocodile or the alligator, and the alligator is like, I can be aggressive, but with her standing on it, even the alligator's finding peace. So this is really about bringing yourself into balance and not worrying so much about the outside world for the air energies. The tarot has the 8 of Autumn, do more research before proceeding, education in the form of seminars, going to school or apprentice, excellent craftsmanship, and long-term plans. So with that, going into your spiritual journey, if there's something that you've been wanting to learn, specifically to spirituality for air singles, this is the time to really look into that. It's also a time for physical and intellectual growth, because the serenity is giving you the clarity of thought to see the things that you actually want, to see maybe those dreams and ideas that you put on the back burner, bringing those back to the front and re-examining them. And that's where that's do more research. This is a time for you to really understand what it is that you're going for, what it is you're trying to build, and growing with that. The other card for you is the Princess of Autumn, studious, responsible, cheerful, and mischievous. Happy news about career, promotions, or scholarships, well thought out plans that go perfectly, and needing a push to get going. This is your push to work with serenity here and really delve into that spirituality or that new class, work, etc., that you have been kind of hemming and hawing about, like, I should, but I just don't know if it's the right time. This is the universe saying, dude, if you don't do it, you're not going to. So this is the time for Earth or for air singles to really step up and work on yourself. This could open the gateway for other people to be drawn to you, new friendships, new romantic relationships is what they're saying, but that is not your focus. Your focus is doing the inner work, doing the inner clearing, because when you work on that, the outside world will find its equilibrium with you, but you have to start the ball rolling, and this is air singles call to start the ball rolling, start the process. So let's look at air in a relationship or air couples, and that could be you, or it could be your partner, it could be a business, etc. And air couples, you got the rigidity card as well. This is really saying time to relax those relax the control over others, or relax the control of others to you. This is a time for you to step up. The rigidity is calling you to not be a doormat. That is the one thing that they just keep repeating with that, is don't be a doormat. So we're back into the throat chakra, and it is the elephant, and we'll just zip through this again. The elephant is one of the most intelligent animals. When domesticated, it often is decked out with adornments that come with having learned to be obedient and respond to its master's wants. It loses independence, but comes with thinking for itself. It acts as it is told, sure that it is doing the right thing even when it's not. Even so, traditionally the elephant is linked with the power of memory, patience, and intuitive understanding. Keywords: dogmatism versus flexible thinking, memory, coming to terms with difficult issues, searching for the key to self-understanding, and learning patience. For the air couples, what they're saying is, don't become so stuck in your path that you lose the ability to see another's opinion, views, or options. They're also saying, if you have become kind of overburdened because I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do because I don't want to upset the apple cart because they might get mad at me, or that's not healthy, and that's not where your soul is calling you to be. This is saying that rigidity is that structure. This is the only way because this is the only way, and this is just how you have to do it. They're calling out that's not true. There are a lot of different options on how to do things, and sometimes stepping out can be something you're afraid of, you don't want to do because you might upset somebody. You might. But is it worth sacrificing who you are, your freedom, your intelligence, your free will, because it might make them upset? The cards are saying not so, and not healthy. So this next month is really a time to examine the relationships that you have around you. That doesn't mean to, run away from them, but it means examine them. Is there something that maybe needs to be communicated and cleared up? Because we are working with throat chakra energy here. So if the rigidity is something that is unhealthy and you feel that you're not being heard, cared for, or acknowledged properly, talk it out. Find a way to communicate that and clean up that relationship. You have this Queen of Spring, brilliant, loyal, talented, and friendly, believing in yourself. People want to help you in maintaining a balance between work and home. This is where that communication really steps forward for you, couples, because you have these gifts. You're brilliant, you're loyal, you're talented, you're loyal to the point where you have actually been willing to sacrifice way more of yourself than is healthy, being in a relationship is about compromise. So there's times where, there's some give and take, but it's not about giving up everything. You build things together, and you build your hopes and dreams. They build their hopes and dreams. When you bring them together, the hopes, dreams, and miracles really that can come out of that are even more powerful than your individual ones. But subjugating yourself, saying, well, mine aren't as good as the other person, so I'll just stop. No, yours are just as valid. Understanding how to work with that within that relationship is what they're calling you to do. The Four of Spring is being grateful. You have much to celebrate, deep feelings of peace and happiness, and a contented personal life. This is what you're shooting for. This is where you're headed. But it's breaking those molds of, well, I have to because society says I have to. Work with the communication. Open that door of communication. The other person in this situation may not even realize that that's how you're feeling. They may not even realize that they've overstepped because you've never said anything. So air, communication, you're good at that. But it can also be your biggest hamper when you let yourself fall into, well, I have to because. Well, examine that closely when you hear that, because that does not always mean the same thing. Just because this is what has always been done doesn't mean that's the way it's always supposed to be. And that's the message that Spirit is bringing in for you right now. So let's cut our little cards here. Not throw them on the floor. And let's hop over to water, the end of our little zodiac cycle. Water is for Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So where's my fishies, crabs, and scorpions at? Which is weird that scorpions are tied into that, but they are. So, water singles. We have communication, number 30. They're showing that you haven't been as open as you would like to be, single water elements. This is the time to open up the doors to communication, to tapping into the ability to express yourself. Emotionally, you're really good at that. You're water signs. You can express emotions like no one else. But there's other forms of communication that you've not been as open with. So let's see what the 5th chakra, so we're in the throat as well. And we have the Akash, or space. So this is where we keep our Akashic records as well. Akash, the 5th element, refers to a non-physical, etheric reality where sound dominates. It holds and transports words, their vibrational messages. The elephant is Gaja, linked with memory and sacred wisdom. The yogis use this image to deepen the invaluable guru-disciple relationship and the mingling of spiritual and cosmic consciousness. Keywords are communication, talking, speaking, listening, hearing on a deeper level, higher thinking, clarifying what you think others are trying to say. And this is really saying, that the communication's not been optimal for water singles right now. And to tap into that is to really look at what you are saying, how you are saying it, but also when you are in communication with other people, what are they saying? Because you hear words, that's you're okay with that. And a lot of water can intuitively and emotionally feel what they're saying, but are you actually understanding them? And that's where that communication breakdown is. So for water singles, communication is about opening up, communicating, being honest with your communication, but also understanding the other person's communication. Not just hearing the words, not just hearing the emotions, but actually communicating and hearing what they're saying. And sometimes reading between the lines or hearing what is not being said is a much more difficult pill to swallow, because that doesn't always mean that what they're saying is what you want to hear, because it doesn't have to be what you want to hear. If they're communicating with you, it's what they're communicating. So being open to that is what they're part of what they're bringing in. The tarot says the Princess of Winter, inquisitive, truthful, realistic, and undiplomatic. Information that can help you, but which may also be difficult to hear. Speaking truth with kindness, indigo child or adult. Brutal honesty is kind of the signature of the indigo class of people, and water tends to hold a lot more of the indigo children and adults. And with that, it is being able to know things without knowing them or knowing why you know them. But it doesn't, the indigos that I've met, and this is not being rude to them, this is truthful, don't have a filter. They're not going to soften what they have to say to you. And that's that communication part where you don't want to really hear what they're saying because it's a little rough. Sometimes you need that rough kind of slap upside the head to be like, yo, wake up. And that's where this is coming up for water singles, is that being inquisitive and truthful, that's not a difficult thing for water. It's the undiplomatic part, because you don't really want to hurt someone's feelings, or you don't want your feelings hurt because you feel everything so deeply. But this particular period of time is saying maybe you need a little bit of a wake-up call. Maybe you need a little bit more of that shake-up. Or it could be the fact that you need to communicate that to another person, because you don't want to hurt their feelings, but sometimes they need to have a reality check, and that's what they're showing me for this one. These two came up together, which is the Four of Winter, setting aside your concerns. You can make decisions later, solutions that come from meditation, the need for sleep or a vacation, and number 5, unity. Do the right thing for the right reason. Compare traditional versus new approaches to see which works. A spiritually minded community. So they're saying that this is a time where you're going to be a little bit more sensitive this next month or so. And that's the Four of Winter, saying take your time. You don't have to do it all today. If you feel a little bit more tired at this time, take the break. It's all right. The universe is saying you don't need permission. This is your permission. But you also have the Major Arcana card with unity. And that's saying even though things may not be the best right now when you have to communicate, this is the time. And when you do the right thing for the right reason, it might come across a little bit harsh at times, but what they're showing me is people will respect you for that, even if it is a little bit more harsh than what you normally communicate as. And when you start to look at things for what works and what doesn't, it's that, is this structure sound? Or is it a, paper dragon? Can you tear it apart? And that's where we're at with this coming month, is your communication skills are saying you're being called out to upend the apple cart, so to speak. You can do it gently, but the communication has to be open and free-flowing. Your water, let it flow. But that's what's coming up, is that unity card is also saying when you have to move against structures that have been traditionally accepted. That could be religious, it could be social, it could be business-oriented. That doesn't mean being ruthless, rude, or harsh. It means examining it from a broader perspective and seeing, does this work or does it need to be adjusted? And indigos are another ones that are here to kind of shake up things and rattle the status quo, so to speak. So that's where we're looking at with the water singles. So let's shuffle the cards here real quick and get into the water couples. And thanks to you guys who are hanging out through this. These videos are a little bit longer because I try to do everyone together. I might break them up at a later time, but for now this is how we're doing it. Water couples. We have compassion. We're tapping into some high energy for water couples. This is that 7th chakra energy. We're working with that energy of divine love, seeing things from broader perspectives, and accepting the heart connection to the heart of the Creator. Sorry, I'm not sure why that was difficult. So we have the Tripura Sundari. This goddess embodies the beauty of inspiration and the ascension to the 7th chakra. Through her, you can recognize everything as divine, including divine qualities within your own being. And they're showing me that this is something that you as a couple can work with, building up to a spiritual enlightenment and growth. The key words we have are innocence, childlike wonder, compassion, love beyond attachment, magic in the moment, expanding your capacity to give and receive love, the radiant heart, and nurturing. So you're tapping into your highest physical form with the crown chakra. The compassion, again, it's that agape love, that's ability to love someone where they're at, even if what they're doing isn't the greatest thing in the world. But this is really about tapping into that ability to accept where they're at. Doesn't mean you have to be okay with what they're doing. You can love them through a situation. They're wanting to remind you as well that this does not mean to stay in an abusive situation, get out of the situation, learn forgiveness from that aspect, and heal from it. Not sure why they're really focusing on that, but really the compassion is for others, but also for yourself. You're tapping into those healthy aspects of a relationship. And they're also saying with business, this can be the same way, where you bring your spiritual, you don't have to go and like stage the building, which sometimes you might need that, think you need that, that's not necessary. But bringing your spirituality into your work is being ethical, being moral, being upfront and honest with how you respond to things, dealing with situations from the heart energy, which is easy for water because you tend to be a bit more emotional anyway, as far as like feeling emotions. But that's where they're talking about for like a business part in the relationships, building that spiritual connection with your partner, sharing your spiritual energy and allowing that to build up and awaken the crown. If you're not fully awake there, work on some of the yogic breathing and tantric breathing. Tantra doesn't always mean amorous. It's energy of life is what you're working with as well. So start working with some of those energies and building that up so that you and your partner can grow together in a spiritual sense. So the tarot says we have the Eight of Autumn. Do more research before proceeding. Education in the form of seminars, going to school, apprenticeships, excellent craftsmanship, and long-term plans. That compassion is really encouraging you to deepen your spirituality, to deepen your ability to see things from the broader perspective, to give love even when it may not be the most optimal thing. And this kind of goes with the concept of forgiveness. I literally was just having this conversation where you don't have to continue to interact with that person that you have had to put a boundary up for, but you can forgive it and walk away from it. Like leave it over there. You don't need it anymore. But you can forgive it. You can offer compassion to, I may not understand why this happened the way it did, but I'm also going to leave you in peace because I need the peace as well. So we're going to leave this here. Again, that can be done completely energetically, but they're showing that if this is an ex that's trying to like reintroduce itself into the relationship that you're in, set that boundary, release it. But they're also saying looking into things long term, understanding the deeper perspectives, but it's also might be time for an expansion. And sometimes what will help you and your partner in a romantic sense is to go to like a couples retreat, go to a seminar. They just showed me the Hay House one where you could go to something along those lines where you're there to expand and grow, but you're doing it with your partner, and that's going to help you grow greater. And they're also saying if you're in a work situation, this is the time to ask for that new class, ask for that seminar if you can go to it to help expand your station in that job. We have the Two of Summer, falling in love, making a serious commitment to someone, forgiveness, the resolution of a problem. Don't give up, your relationship can be healed. Again, not if it's an abusive one, get out of those. But if there's just a little hiccup in the way, like you're having a disagreement about a financial thing, especially here in the holidays, this is saying work through that. Those are not worth it. That compassion aspect is really about tapping into understanding where the other person is coming from, seeing it from another perspective, and then being able to communicate back. This is what I am seeing. Is this correct? How can we resolve this? But building with that knowledge and growth. And that compassion is about loving the person even if the situation's not the greatest. And that's what this Two of Summer is saying. Don't worry about the stuff that's not working. Don't worry about the stuff that's not the greatest. Find a way to release that, because that's not helping you. Those are minor. What's important for water in couples right now is growth, connection, and being able to see compassion and feel compassion for the world around you. That does not mean putting yourself in a doormat situation, but it definitely means being able to see it from the higher perspective and a loving perspective. So, with that, we'll let you guys go. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Let me know in the comments section what you thought, any questions or other comments, even criticism, as long as it's respectful. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video, and I will talk to you in a future episode.